smash the guitar.
Everybody all set? Let's go. Here, everybody.
So this beautiful instrument, this magnificent guitar, this fake guitar, represents the American dream. And this is what pennies do to the American dream. Whew! Who needs power poses, right? All right, so now that I got that out of my system, did I cut myself? No. Now that I got that out of my system, I will call to your attention things that are nothing short of raw truth. Because the truth is, getting rid of pennies will be extremely beneficial from an economic standpoint. Thus, I plan to enlighten your beautiful minds to the conflict surrounding pennies, and then we can look at why I believe pennies are not beneficial, and finally, figure out how banning pennies will fix this problem. The main problems with pennies are that they are worthless, they are trash, and they are bad for the economy. As far as function goes, they truly are worthless. First of all, private businesses aren't required to accept pennies, as stated by Minpost on June 9th, 2011. In which case, our prices were rounded down to the nearest 5, and customers were fine with it. Furthermore, 66% of all pennies haven't even been in circulation, as seen in the data collected by Government Accountability Office on July 16th, 1996. Basically, that means that no one uses them. They're just there, which is a great description if you're talking about Radio Shack, not if you're talking about American money. This basically means that they are trash, and I'm serious when I say trash. 2% of Americans said in a Washington Post study in 2006 that they actually throw pennies away. By the way, we have no recycling system for this problem, so not only is this bad for the environment, it's a waste of government resources. The government shouldn't spend millions of dollars to make trash. That's Hollywood's job. Speaking of wasting money, they are bad for the economy. Sir frickin' fries, right? Do you know how much it costs to make a penny? 1.8 cents, almost twice its worth. You don't believe me? Check out the Consumer's article of March 10, 2014. In fact, just last week on July 8th, Coinflation.com reported that zinc, the key metal in pennies, is worth more than a penny. You guys with me yet? Right? It's worthless, it's trash, it's a waste of money. So what more do you want? But we still keep them. Do you want to know why? Let me tell you why. So the main reasons why this problem is allowed to continue are the influences of big business over the government, the sentimentality surrounding the penny, and the fear that getting rid of the penny will throw the economy off of balance. All right, so let's dive in. Let's see first why Jarden Corporations sucks. Jarden Corporations produces the zinc discs to mint pennies. They also make slow cookers and collapse rings. Basically, they dominate the market in things that try to be cool but just aren't, kind of like drumsticks. Nevertheless, the fact that they are the only major zinc company in America gives them the ability to fund lobbyists such as the Americans for Common Sense. The Americans for Common Sense are an actual penny enthusiast group, and they actually have stopped anti-penny legislation in Congress 3 times, according to the Washington Times of July 9th, 2009. But the only way that they are able to consistently convince the American people to keep this stupid thing is because it has sentimental value. Americans for Common Sense lack common sense because they believe that the penny is an essential historical American symbol that memorializes Abraham Lincoln. This apparently is enough for people to want to keep something that costs us hundreds of millions of dollars every year. But Jared, what happens if we get rid of the penny? We might lose jobs and money. All right, fair point, fair point. Jarden employs a lot of people, and the argument exists that if we were to get rid of pennies, they would lose their jobs. Some say it could also cost more money to phase them out of the economy than it would just to keep paying for them. Thus, the resistance pushes on. And I can tell by your faces that this is a heartbreaking, heart-wrenching tragedy, so I'll do my best to fix it for you. I got you, don't worry. The solutions that I, Jared, will set before you will address each of the aforementioned causes and will allow for you to see how each problem will be fixed. So first, let's fix the sentimental side. We already have a giant statue of Lincoln sitting on a giant throne. Also, can you think of another thing that pays tribute to Lincoln? Something like the $5 bill? We don't need his face on a cent if we have something on him. If we have him on something that's worth 500 times more than a cent. In fact, the Associated Press said on May 24th, 1990, that 62% of Americans disagree with me on that. I can't help them, but I actually could. I actually could, because we could mint pennies still, just in smaller amounts for collectibles, right? Boom, problem solved. What do we do about Jardine Corporation? An economist from Wake Forest University said on July 18th, 2006, that we could actually mint $1 coins. The durability, as opposed to bills, will actually help us make $500 million a year instead of losing $300 million a year keeping pennies. In short, we won't lose money as long as we try to avoid being stupid, so try to pushing that through Congress. Now, in regard to the deeper fear about economic impact, I'm going to tell you something that PBS reported on April 21st, 2014, and you're not going to like it. Canada's already done it. That's right, they got rid of the penny in 2012. And the article was written in 2014 to talk about how well they were doing. Now it's 2016, and they're still doing well. No prices, no economic crash from prices going up or down, no jobs lost, no bad vibes from the economy at all. And you know what's even greater? They recycle all the metal that they get, and they melt it down, and then they sell it to make even more money than us. Come on, America. Don't let us be Canada's pants. Hence, after careful observation over why pennies are a problem, and even more careful observation of why that problem is perpetuated, we looked at what getting rid of the problem would do, because we live in a day and age in which we need to be at our most economically efficient. Therefore, we cannot keep a coin that is deficient. Now, I'm not saying that my solutions will fix America and make our economy the best economy in the world. But here's the thing. There are so many bad things in this world that we can't get rid of. Terrorism, meth, world hunger, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton. But this is a problem that we can actually fix, America, so please, come on, for me, do it. Thank you.